This is part 2 to our curriculum series. I did the 3rd grade and 6th grade curriculum for my boys and showed you kind of what we did. It didn't seem like there was a lot in their video because that's just the stuff that I work with them individually on. So that's like my one-on-one work that I do with them, but we do other work because we have group, they have computer stuff, and I try to do a fair amount of lab booking and hands-on activities. So we're actually going to be buying more hands-on stuff than sit-down workbook stuff because they're boys. So this is my cart. This is where I keep all of the group stuff. So all of the Islamic Studies, Social Studies, Science, Reading, Language Arts, and Spelling because we do that as a group. So I'll start at the front of the cart. Here are the, they're like the Quran for kids. And originally they both had their own. But since this is a group subject, what I do is I keep one while I'm reading with them, and then they get together and they follow along with me in the other book. So this is a part of our Islamic study curriculum. We have not, we started this, we actually had these books since last year. We started them somewhat, but we're going to re-go over them because I want to make sure that my kids know the English with the surahs, the chapters of the Quran that they learn, as well as the Arabic. So I want them to understand what they're reading and not just be able to recite. So this is basically our Quran. And we do just regular reading from the Quran. So we do, you know, just daily readings, and we read the story of the cave on Fridays. And we're actually going to be doing a lap book on Story of the Cave one of these Fridays. But this is our basically go-to resource for Quran for them because it contains questions. So there is, let's maybe start in the back so you guys can really see what they have going on here. So let's do this one. This is one of the last chapters of the Quran. So this is how it looks. You've got the surah. So this is where they basically put it where the kids can understand that surah of the Quran. They give some background knowledge. And then you have comprehension questions over here to help make sure that the kids understand what they read. You have the Arabic version, and then you have the transliteration of it, and then I go over the English part. I translate the transliteration for them in English. And we what we do is we break it down. So if there's like this, there's 6 ayats or 6 lines in this chapter of the Quran. We would maybe work on 1 to 2 every week, and it would take us a couple of weeks. We don't rush through our Islamic studies at all. We want to make sure that they understand what's being taught to them and not just teaching them stuff just for the sake of teaching stuff, which is the same rule that I apply to the other subjects in our schooling as well. We have a few other Islamic studies books that we use here as a group. So this one teaches what we have for you guys that are not Muslim. It's wudu and salah. So this is basically the ablution, the cleaning of Muslims before they make salah, which is also known as prayer. So they learn, this also has some surahs in the back, but they learn how to perform the prayers. They learn how to clean themselves properly before they make prayers. And then this one we have essential du'as in the life of a Muslim for every Muslim home. It just has some supplications, basically mini prayers that the kids will work on, and we do these. And we what we do is we just work on them. We'll take it one at a time. You know, once they've learned and they've mastered and they can understand why you make this prayer, what this prayer is about, what you make it for, and even memorize it, then we move on to the next. Like I said, there's absolutely no rush in this curriculum. This could probably take us through the rest of our homeschooling career, and we'd be okay with that. This is what you call the hadith. So the hadith is basically the way that the Prophet left, the things that he did and left behind for us to do as God-fearing people, the things that we should do and follow. And I teach that to the boys as well. So we try to do one of these every week. And basically what it is sorry about that. You read the hadith. It tells you what lessons should be learned here. And then there's some stories that go along with the hadith. So it basically tells you where this hadith comes from. I can't remember where I got all of these from. When I do, I'll either link it or I'll do another video and let you guys know where exactly I got these from for any other Muslim homeschools out there who might want to know. So that's, in a nutshell, that's our Islamic study curriculum, aside from the board that we do that teaches the 5 pillars, which are the 5 things that you need to be able to do on a daily basis that would make you Muslim, or that Muslims should follow. And then we also have Islamic study workbook that I got off of Pinterest, and we go over that on a weekly basis as well. So that's all a part of our Islamic studies curriculum. We start our day with that every day, reading Quran and making the duas. And then for social studies, we have kidpreneurs. So this is something I found last year. We haven't worked on it yet, but we're going to get to it probably closer to the summer, where my kids are going to be able to like start their own little mini businesses, probably just selling stuff and getting a feel for it. And we'll go over this. You can actually go on their website, kidpreneurs.com, I think it is, and you can order it. I think this was free. It may have only been one, from not even sure how I got the second one, but I think these were free. And this can go along with any entrepreneur curriculum that you may want to teach your kids. And then we also have these state study notebooks. So what we're going to do is, every time we do social studies, we're not going to try to do every state and learn and memorize every state during this one school year. That's not what my goal and my aim is. But I want them to actually, like I said, obtain the knowledge. And I don't want to overwhelm them with stuff and make it where, oh, you have to memorize this and know this. I figured out what the term was finally called, eclectic homeschoolers. So we take resources from all over the place and ideas from all over the place, and we use them as they suit our homeschooling. So for the U.S. state studies, what we would do is we would learn the state when we're in our marking period where we're doing social studies. We would go over a state, we would do some geography. Now these printables I got off of Pinterest. Yes, probably the Pinterest queen was like, can you find anywhere to get printables from but Pinterest? I do, but majority of what I have, that's where it came from. It's just like, I can go to them real quick, type in what I'm looking for, and they'll, send you to wherever you need to go. So what I did was, there's a Homeschool Printing Company called Homeschool Printing .com. If I'm not saying that right, I'm going to look them up for you guys, and I'm actually going to put it down in the description below, or I'll link it for you guys. I had them print this out and bind this the way that it is. So I didn't do this. I had them, the Homeschool Printing Co. do this for me. So that's how we do the state study books. Then we have art. We do in different ways. I actually have 7 different things we use for art. This is a book that we get sometimes we work out of here. I got this off of Amazon, the Art Lab for Kids. There's different projects. We don't have a steady curriculum that we use for art. We pull from all different places, and I think it's not until they get older that I'm going to more so structure what they're learning. Right now is just, getting familiar and introducing things to them. Science, we have different books. This I actually got from Five Below. It's like $4 or so, I think. No, take that back. I got this one from Dollar Tree. So this was only $1. And for science, I'm very unschooly. So I may pick some things that I want my kids to learn, but at the same time, they're free to look at these books and say, hey, I might want to do one of these experiments. We have 7 different science books that that have different experiments and stuff like that, and they're free to do that. I'm not like, oh, let's sit down and learn biology or this, that, and the third. Right now, it's all experiment, hands-on, because they're boys, and I'm just trying to get them interested in doing schooling. This is another one. This is the one that I actually got from Five Below. It was $4. So science experiments to blow your mind. Most of these they do over the summer, though. I think next school year, because we are getting a little older, I am going to introduce some more personal science curriculum to them, so they both might end up having their own science curriculum. But right now, we do this, and we do a little bit of how I teach them in group for science. So here we have our human cell, kind of like lap book poster. They're studying this right now, and then next week, Monday, they'll have a quiz before we move on to something else. Quizzes are actually done on the tablet. At the end of this video, because I don't have the tablet with me, I'm going to add that clip on to show you how we do some of our quizzes. So quizzes are actually done on our iPad. This is our human body book that we read a little bit out of. And we're working, like I said, this week on the human cell. These resources, again, Pinterest. You probably can count on your hand. You can probably count on your head how many times I've said that already. But that's where I got those resources from. I just saved them in our pens labeled homeschooling for me and the older boys. And then I have another set of pens called preschool for my youngest son. So then this lap book here goes along with Islamic Studies, Social Studies, Health and Science. So in the front is where we learn about Quran. This is actually where I just store the materials that will go on our board. So I don't really lap book anything in here anymore. I know in a previous video I was probably lap booking, but we're not going to do it that way anymore. I don't want to lap book too many subjects. Okay, I don't want to have to write and glue for too many subjects, so we changed that up a little bit. So this is basically just where I store the worksheets that'll go on our board. Then we have Social Studies, which is, again, where I store the worksheets. And over here, I will write down the stuff that we learned during the school year when we learned it. And I'm not really going to worry about the pages, but it'll be in order from the way that we learned it. This is where I'll store the stuff for me to be able to go over what they're working on. So next week, we're going to be starting, since it's Halloween, learning the history of Halloween. And they have this printable in their group notebook, and I have it in my lap book here so that we can go over it together. A few more Halloween printables, but we're probably only going to go over that first one and just watch a video and ask some questions. So for science, like I said, this is where I would store all of the worksheets so that I can, go ahead and put them where we need to put them to work on for our next subject. Same thing with health. At the beginning of the school year for health, we did worked on sleep and the importance of sleep. So we just learn different things. This is some stuff that goes with my All About Spelling. I just put them in a report cover and kept them this way. I didn't feel like cutting everything down. When it comes time for us to work on those lessons, then I'll cut those particular ones out. I just didn't have the energy at that time to cut everything out at one time. And then behind there is our reading skills lap book, where we work on different concepts for reading. And what I'm actually going to do is probably put them on that board over there, or we'll just go over them in our other reading lap book. So put this over here. This is what we're doing for reading. We still have not got to this book yet, but I promise Monday, well, not Monday. How we're going to do this is Monday we're going to start our spelling. Tuesday we'll review spelling, the spelling lesson or start another spelling lesson. So we're going to look at doing maybe 1 to 2 spelling lessons, depend on how long that spelling lesson is, a week. And then Tuesday we'll do our dictionary skills and our vocabulary. So that's when I'll introduce our word roots on Tuesday. And then on on Wednesday and Thursday we have our reading meeting. So we're going to be doing A Wrinkle in Time, and let me show you the reading lap book. So this is the reading lap book. What it is I got this off of Book Pages. So Book Pages basically has a lesson plan and different vocabulary and all this type of stuff for certain books, and they have different grade levels. We're going to be doing this as a group, so my 3rd grader can actually get in with it, even though it says 6th grade reading level. I'm going to be doing the out loud reading to them, and we're going to be doing the activities that's in here as a group. Okay, so you have different meetings. Right here it tells you meeting 1, you'll introduce a sequence of events. So our first meeting next week is where we'll talk about maybe like, what does, according to the title, what do you think this book about? Well, this is like going to be our big reading comprehension study. So this is how we'll do our reading comprehension as a group. It has vocabulary, it has a lot of different stuff, and I'll do another video just to go over this because it will probably need its own video just to go over that. That's our reading lap book. Then we have the language arts lap book, which has our word roots, our critical thinking, and this is all of our word root stuff. And we'll just sit down and fill this in together as a group. But I'll put the words on either index cards or print them out from my computer. I use Lakeshore Learning. They have like free resources where you can make flashcards, and I just print them out on there, and I'll put them on the back of this where we do our spelling lesson cards as well. And then at the end of the week we'll just go over this worksheet together. Or maybe every day we'll do a little bit different lessons, different portions of the lesson, and then we'll review at the end of the week, and the next week we'll quiz out on those, and if they're ready, we'll go on to the next lesson words. If they're not, for vocabulary, I like for them to get 100% and understand those words 100%, because it's only suffix, prefixes, and roots, and it's breaking the word down. It's a little easier. I like for them to know 100% that before we move on. If they don't, we study it, or if they can get as close to 100% as they can, then we move on. So that's that. Then, of course, we have our All About Spelling lessons, and we do this together as a group. I didn't get an individual spelling curriculum for them because I wanted my boys to actually learn the concepts and the rationale behind spelling, and not just be able to spell a bunch of different words. That's why I like All About Spelling, you know. And then it never hurts to review the sounds and stuff like that, so it actually helps with their reading too. So because spelling and reading basically go hand in hand. So Monday, like I said, we'll start off with this. We've been slow but steady starting our school year. There's some things we still haven't got to yet, and with us already having break weeks, because like I said, I have some health things going on. I've been back and forth to the doctor. It's kind of interfered, but we're getting there. And then this is Spelling Power. What I'm going to do is I want to see how I can work this into our spelling curriculum, and based on the sounds and stuff, use this with it. If not, no big deal. Well, maybe I'll save it for the middle grades once we're all done with because I intend on using All About Spelling for up until we've completed all the levels. Once we've done that, I'll probably just go ahead and use Spelling Power, because it basically goes over the same concepts and getting our spelling words from here all the way through high school. So basically, after getting all the levels for All About Spelling, I'll never have to buy another spelling curriculum again. And then these are some of our math games that I got from the dollar store to play in our math group. This is my All About Spelling card box. Those are the letter tiles. And then we have some word strips and sentence strips that we'll be using for our vocabulary and stuff like that. And down here is just a few things that I'm going to be using on future boards. So that is it for the stuff that we use for our group. I am going to go a little bit more in depth on the reading lap book one, and you guys will get to see videos on how we actually do each and every last one of these lap books. So come back and visit us. Thanks. All right, real quick, this is the quiz app I was telling you guys about that sometimes my boys use, especially when it comes to our vocabulary, that they use to take quiz instead of doing the old-fashioned pen and paper. So it's called Quiz Maker, and they also have pre-made quizzes on here, but I mostly make my own quizzes for them. So you can press play quiz, and then these are ours, which is the word roots, our vocabulary test. So you can press play quiz, and then it asks them a prefix is, and then they have to pick one of the answers. So if they get it wrong, it gives them multiple options. I really like this. You know, it's quick and simple. Both of my boys take it, and that's it. I think here, sorry, no, that's not it. One of these, let me find out for you, shows you how people did on the quiz. So how my boys did on the quiz. I can't find it. Okay, so right here. Word Roots Quiz 2. Nobody's taking this quiz, but if it does, whichever one of them takes it, it will show their score. So let me maybe go to the first one, because they did take that to show you what their scores, and I just have them put their name in. So the first one was me testing them together, then my oldest son, and then my middle son's score. So they can type their name in at the end, and it'll rank by highest score on there. So this is pretty much how I like to do our vocabulary quiz. Instead of doing the old-fashioned pen and paper, we go over together out loud as a group, and then at the end of the week or the beginning of the next week on that Monday, we take our quizzes on this app. And again, the name of the app is Quiz Maker. I'm not sure if it's on Android or not. We just recently got the iPad tablet. We were Android family before, but I actually switched over for multiple reasons to Apple, and I actually like their products, so we're using Quiz Maker. And if you have any questions or comments, again, please leave them down. This is just an add-on to our homeschool curriculum video.